Hello everyone, we are from Group 5. So today we're going to present the group project proposed title, which is The Factors Influence the SMEs Growth in Malaysia of its Sustainability and Profitability. These are the group members' details, which is me, myself, Michwell, Brandon, and Anak, Nurul, Hazwani, Mawaddah, Binti Kadir, Nurezzati, Binti Ghapar, Marisha, Syuhada, Binti Zaki, and Nurul, Izzatey, Binti Abdullah. Introduction of the study. The prime objective of this research is to arrive at the factors which influence the SME's growth in Malaysia, which is to illustrate the instrument affecting the growth of SME in Malaysia. The research will use 4 variables. In regards to the background of the study, small and medium enterprise are among the private sector which comprise with the domestic and international market in fostering growth of Malaysia's economic transformation progress. The dependent variable of this study is the SMEs growth in Malaysia, which will evaluate on how does the SMEs being affected based on its sustainability and profitability by several factors. The independent variable, government has various future plans in order to sustain the existence of SMEs growth of business in domestic market. In addition, there may also have certain programs by the government to boost the productivity and the economic growth in Malaysia. In regards to the internet marketing, the SMEs businesses are tending to use such medium to reach its targeted customer, but cannot deny that some of the SME are still using the traditional way of marketing as they are used to it. The pandemic strikes may also be the biggest influence to the SMEs growth in terms of their profitability and sustainability, which it seems to be slowed down at first, and some of them might also wound up due to insufficient funds to support the production costs. The problem statement of the study is that the government of Malaysia to play the important roles in order to provide the government assistance. In internet marketing, the firm only need to make use of the technology or even social media to advertise their businesses. The pandemic strikes of COVID-19 may also illustrate of how the firm or SMEs businesses could survive and how far does it really affect to their business. Now we proceed to the research question. Based on the observation, this study are attempts to answer the questions stated below, which is how does Malaysian SMEs are aware of such matter to sustain in this market and ensure their firms to gain profit in this line. Are the SMEs in Malaysia complying with the government assistance to ensure its consistent growth in the market? Second, are the SMEs in Malaysia applying the internet marketing or e-marketing to operate its business to increase its profitability index? Third, are the SMEs in Malaysia are able to sustain the company's growth during the hard time of economic condition during the pandemic strikes? Now we are down to the hypothesis development of the study. First, the government assistance. H1. Government assistance has a significant effects on SMEs, sustainability and profitability. For instance, the government will have the plan in order to ensure that the sustainability of the SMEs firm are remain constant in Malaysian market. Second, internet marketing. H2. Internet marketing has a significant effects on SMEs sustainability and profitability. In regards to the marketing strategies conducted by SMEs businesses, they may also look for an alternative to boost the production and be more proactive in businesses. H3. Thus, the pandemic strikes of COVID-19 has a significant effects on SMEs sustainability and profitability. As MCO has been implemented, some of the SMEs businesses are not allowed to continue its operation until the nation are able to break the chance of COVID-19. These are the objectives derived from this study. 1. To analyze whether the government assistance is really bring the significant effects to the SME sustainability and profitability. Second, to study if the internet marketing has brought any impacts to the SME's growth in Malaysia to reach out to their targeted profit and remain constant in the market. Third, to investigate how the pandemic strike has effects to the SME sustainability and profitability due to certain limitation during the MCO. Contribution to the body of knowledge. Through the awareness of these determinants, the SMEs business owners are being able to figure out what to do next in their future planning of business.
Hello, my name is Nurezzati Binti Ghapar, number matrix 71094. I am going to discuss part literature review. The literature review of these three independent variables to analyze the effect of the SME growth in the Malaysian in the measure of the sustainability and profitability. Government assistance and SMEs growth. Some of the development programs organized by the government may also need to enhance the production of the organization at its respective sector. Internet marketing and SMEs growth. Internet marketing seems to be one of important methods to consider in the implementation of business strategy to boost the production and aim a higher profit. Pandemic strike of COVID-19 and SMEs growth. The result of this effect could be as the SMEs are unable to continue the business as how they are before. Next, about the theoretical framework. First is risk shifting theory. The risk shifting theory can be made use to develop a strategy and a method to run the business. Number two is typological theory. A typology of strategy, performance measurement, system development process characteristic. In this theory, the respective body of the management of the SME's business may be able to participate or observation of strategy, performance measurement, system development.
Hello, my name is Nurul Izzatey Binti Abdullah with number matrix 71206. I will continue to the literature reviews part. According to Gilmore A, Gallagher D, and Henry S., the study determined the relationship between e-marketing and SMEs. The finding claim raises some serious issues for the future of SMEs operating in a peripheral location and their e-marketing provisions. The study from Gallagher A is to analyze what factors affecting the growth and development of SMEs. According to the finding claim, the sustainable growth has occurred by the GDP percentage growth rates and inflation rate still crucial in Kosovo for the past 10 years. From Hudson M, Smart A, and Bond M, this study examined the theoretical and practices of SMEs. The finding shows the typology contributes to current theory to facilitate a convergence of theory and practice. Next is the study from Klonowski. This study is to examine the effectiveness of government-sponsored programs in supporting the SME sector in Poland. The finding concern because it underlines a considerable weakness of the government support programs. According to Tambunan, this study is to examine the output value, total workers employed, and number of units on SMEs in Indonesia since 1993. The finding shows that a majority of SMEs did claim that their business had improved because of the assistance programs. The study from Aziz and Omar is to determine effectively technologies and cooperative information sharing. The finding shows would provide SMEs with the opportunity to benefit from information resources and provide a ready network of potential business partners. Next is the study from Lodlo and Maffini. The relationship between internet marketing paybacks and firm productivity claims the adoption of internet marketing technologies enables SMEs to deliver critical information through many platforms, to their internal stakeholders as well as external parties. According to Mahajan, the study analyzes the impact of coronavirus pandemic on small and medium enterprises in India. The COVID-19 epidemic has flooded industries across the globe, with some business impacted more than others. The last research is Odoma and Audu. This study is to examine the impacts of COVID-19 pandemic on entrepreneurship and SMEs. The finding shows that entrepreneurs impacted by the terms of finance to which they have access, which are very small percentage of criteria for societal good.
Hello everyone, my name is Nurul Hazwani Mawaddah, Binti Abdullah 71194. So here we will move on to the part methodology. So in this research, we will use the multivariate regression analysis that based on OLS estimation. This methodology will consist of time series and the cross-sectional data. It also consists of several statistical and diagnostic tests. This research will use large-scale survey data to examine the SME sustainability and profitability throughout the previous record of 10 years. The independent variables that are chosen will be examined as it may influence the SME. So this research will use quantitative data that are collected from Department of Statistics Malaysia. Table summary of variable here shows what type of variable and how it will be measured in this research. So this is basically the test that we'll use based on OLS estimations such as t-test, f-test, goodness of fit, and standard error of mean. Meanwhile, in panel regression model, this research focused on the static micropanel that involve a cross-sectional analysis between the number of firms over a certain period of time.
Hi, I'm Marisha. I will going to present the unit root test, diagnostic test, and conclusion. The ADF test is a typical statistical test for determining if a variable is statistically. The ADF test is employed in the study to determine whether a unit root exists. In ADF testing, the null hypothesis states that the data were not steady, meaning that the study had a unit root. As a result, it likely that the investigation will reject the theory. This study will be able to determine how independent variables such operational working capital, leverage, and profitability affect the Malaysian listed trading firm. When an independent variable in a study is found to be positively related with one another, it is called multicollinearity. Multicollinearity, on the other hand, can be determined by determining the correlation between the independent variable and the strength of the correlation. Make sure the test has a higher R-square, but allow the iteration to find a multicollinearity problem. When R-square is high, it shows that there is a link between independent variables. The heteroscedasticity test is a tool that allows anyone to evaluate the heteroscedasticity assumption availability within a model. The steps are to show that the white test is used to find heteroscedasticity errors in the regression analysis and to assume the error terms is normally distributed according to the description of the processes. When the null hypothesis test is more than the essential value or the p-value is significantly less than the significant level of 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. However, it seems acceptable to conclude that the model is not heteroscedastic. To construct the model and discover the residual, the study must first run the OLS regression. Second, using the residual sample, perform an OLS regression on the model. The null hypothesis is now ready to be tested in the third step. The research can then pick the sample size depending on the null hypothesis findings. If the test statistic is higher than the critical value, it is possible that there is no autocorrelation problem. However, the null hypothesis must not be rejected. Normality test analyze whether or not a dataset is expected to be normally distributed. The Ghapar test is the most commonly used by researchers to see if data meets the normality assumption. As a result, if the p-value is significantly less than the significant level of 0.05, the null hypothesis should be rejected.
Kusum test also will be measured in this research.
This chapter has detailed information on all relevant and major tests that will be carried out. As a result, because the study is based on secondary data, the sample will be drawn from other sources that are relevant to the study variable and objective. This is to verify that the data is trusted in terms of long-term viability and profitability, given the variety impacts of connected elements that may have significant consequence.
For conclusion, to wrap it all, this study is mainly to illustrate the instrument affecting the growth of SME in Malaysia. For literature review, the chapter had discussed about the supporting generated from the previous studies in regards to the relationship between the dependent variables and the independent variables. In regards to the research methodology, all the relevant and significant testing that will be conducted have been presented in this part.